Hey guys, welcome to this week's review of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 2, Episode 14, I think. Okay, so let's get into it because my last review for Salt Lake City was hella long. Hella long. And I just did a review for Portia's Family Matters, and it was also way too long. So I'm not gonna make that same mistake. I would say twice, but it has been like 30 times. So I'm still learning and I'm doing it now. Okay, let's just get right into the juicy stuff. Jen and Lisa, they finally meet up. Jen is devastated because Lisa was the first person she called. And Lisa didn't pick up the phone because Lisa was still mad at her. Because the last time they met, Jen, like per usual, freaked out on Lisa. Now, in Jen's defense, was Lisa being kind of messy by bringing up Jen and whatever she had going on with that social media influencer slash designer? I do not know. Yes, she was being messy, but on the flip side of it, I mean, let's break the fourth wall. You're on reality television. You can have a moment, but to be so reactive to the point where you become completely unpredictable and unsafe, it's just too much because it's like, how can we work with you if we feel like we say one thing to you and you're going to completely lose it and spaz out on us? Jen is just entirely too much. I said this 1,001 times. Moving on, right? So Lisa still felt some type of way. So when Jen got into what she got into, she didn't really feel like answering Jen's calls. She didn't feel like meeting up. And of course, Jen is like, how could you? You know what I mean? And this is what I'll say, and I've said it last week as well. It's bad enough being in a situation that Jen's in. It's bad enough being in a situation that Erica Jane was in. It's bad enough to be in a situation that Teresa Judice was in. Or Juduce? I don't know. Right? That's bad enough. It's bad enough to be in a situation that new girl Nuella from Real Housewives of Orange County is in. Like, these are crap situations to be in, period, right? Which seems to be very common in the Housewives for some reason. But as much as I want to empathize with Jen, I feel like it's just a lot worse when you've been a jerk to everybody, right? And I get you want people to be there for you and empathetic, but you're a jerk. I don't know what to tell you, right? Is Lisa's timing for being mad at Jen inconvenient to Jen? Yes, but at the same time, I feel like, yes, Lisa owes Jen an apology, but so does Jen. But Jen is so consumed, rightfully so, with what she's going through. She is not even able to process everybody else and how she's hurt them, and like, it's all about her in this moment, which is, it's fair. I completely understand that. I do. But she needs to apologize to Lisa, right? And Lisa said it right in her confessional. She read Jen like, I'm not gonna be that friend where you can treat me any type of way and then expect me to always be there for you. Because with people like that, it always seems like they're in a crisis, right? And that crisis may be genuine, right? But if every time they're going through something, every time they're like, I don't want to hear about that right now. I'm going through this, I'm going through that. Do you know what's going on with me right now and everything? Like, if it's always gonna be that way, then what kind of friendship is that? Like, from what we've seen of Lisa and Jen, it's always Lisa going out of her way to soothe Jen and comfort her Jen. Like, Jen is always in the middle of a meltdown, right? And that's at some point it's exhausting. I feel like Lisa has showed her so much grace, right? I don't know, right? I already talked about this last episode. I'm not gonna ramble on. So basically, the whole scenario ends with Jen doesn't apologize to Lisa. Jen doesn't even acknowledge what Lisa was saying about how she freaked out at her, right? Jen was pretty much, well, who cares about that? I'm going through this right now, and you need to focus on that. That's basically what she did, and then she starts crying like she does, which is reasonable in this situation. Let me say that. You know, Lisa, of course. I mean, yeah, this lady may be going to jail. I think that kind of tops what you're going through at this point. So it's like, okay, give her a bit of a grace again. But, like, let her know, look, you can't talk to me like this. This is not okay. Right? So Lisa's like, I'm sorry. What can I do for you? And Jen basically says, just be there for me. Um, I think that's a very loaded statement when it comes to Jen. So we will see. I mean, I was kind of surprised. They talk, what, like 3 hours a day. So they definitely had or were building a close friendship. So hopefully Lisa is here now. Hopefully they can move on. So we move on to a scene with Heather and her brother. And before I get into it, I just want to say I was wrong. I was really wrong because I remember at my earlier reviews, I was over Heather talking about being an ex Mormon and that whole experience. I was kind of over it. Maybe because the first season, that's what we got, but it was more so her talking about it and her interacting with her daughters. And like her daughters were mostly listening, right? Which is fine. Your daughters should listen to their mothers. That's great, right? But you know, we weren't really getting much of an interaction there. So I don't know, I was kind of over it, but now kind of getting a scene with her brother and her sister, it really gives more dimension to what she's speaking on, you know? Now it's like I get to see her experience on an emotional level, right? Where I like, okay, now I get it. Now I see because I'm not a Mormon, right? And I have very limited knowledge. I have some no, let's just say I have very limited knowledge. So it really Heather's story increasingly episode by episode is very interesting to me. So you know what? I was wrong. I was wrong. Let me give I'm too hard on Heather sometimes, you know what I mean? Um the scene with her brother, like, wow, wow. Um you know, at the end of the day, I'm not gonna tell anybody what religion they need to be or whatever, but I'm happy for Heather and her brother that, you know, they were in a religion, they weren't happy about it, and they made the brave choice and decided to move outside of that and do something else. And like when her brother was like, oh my gosh, I may have raised my children in a cult. Well, I don't even think he said may. He straight up said, I raised my children in a cult. And you know, Heather also has children, also probably feels similar, right? And like you could see it in her eyes, like, but you know, at the end of the day, if that's how you feel like it's a cult, ultimately, I mean, I don't know how old his children is, but like ultimately you made the choice to do something different, right? And by doing that, you showed your children that okay, there's not maybe there is other ways to live your life. You gave them an option, you know? And not only did you give them more options, but you gave them your support in whatever option that, you know, they ultimately decide doing versus kind of being forced and stuck in a situation where it's like you have to do what you're told. And you know, so I'm I'm trying not to ramble, so I'll just wrap it up neatly with a bow. It was a great scene. I'm glad that they were able to find resolution, and I hope Heather and all her siblings now will come together and get closer and closer. So, yeah. Okay. Moving on. What happened next? We have Jen and Coach Shaw, her husband. Um, you know, Coach Shaw really makes me wish that she was innocent. It makes me want to root for her because Jen is not my favorite, okay? And the pieces that have been presented to us, it's very easy for, I think, the audience to come to a certain conclusion about her. Like, let's be real. If I was like, okay, place your bets. Do you think she's guilty or she's innocent? And you had to like put down $10,000. Like, can we be real? Comment down below. What are you betting? Okay, you have $10,000. Are you saying she's guilty or she's innocent? Now, at the end of the day, we don't really know. It's up to the courts to decide how that goes down. If she's innocent, then I have no complaints. I'm not gonna go investigating or trying to find. Oh no, she's actually guilty. No, no, cool. You're innocent. I have no problem. I hope you're innocent. But if you're guilty, then you're guilty, right? But I'm not gonna lie. I just have the assumption that she's kind of guilty. I'm sorry. Maybe she's not that guilty, but I think she's a little bit guilty. Just something about her energy is coming off a little bit guilty to me. Like she knew something was going on, right? But I love to see how Coach Shaw is so supportive of her in this moment. Like he really has her back. So it's a bittersweet moment to see because I love that they're bonding in this moment and it shows the strength of their marriage, but at the same time like you don't want, because you're going to jail, to be the reason why we're gonna get to see this lovely scene between husband and wife. Like, no. So, feel for Jen. Okay, let's move on to Lisa and Whitney. Of course, Lisa and Whitney are bonding over taking Mary down. So they do some paddleboard yoga in like this, I don't know, this cave thing where there's some water and it's like bottomless. I don't know. It just, the whole atmosphere was a little creepy. I don't know. Would I want to do yoga? I mean, I can't really swim, so that would be one of the reasons why I would be deterred from doing that. But it's also, it just looks creepy. I don't know if I could get zen in that place. I don't know. But whatever. So, like I said, Whitney and Lisa, you know how it's been. They're back and forth. They're arch enemies. I don't know why, but they are. And they're coming together to take down Mary. And I don't know. It's like I understand this Mary stuff has to come out at some point. It's been all over the blogs. Everybody knows. And Lisa and Whitney are just the tools to do that. I don't know, maybe I'm asking for too much, maybe I'm breaking the fourth wall again, but I just wish it would have came up in a more genuine way. I don't know, something about this Cameron guy and Whitney and Lisa, it just seems very contrived. But I guess however the information gets to us, then that's just how the information gets to us. I mean, I feel like Whitney, she's a terrible actor. It's like she wants to act concerned, but for some reason I'm not buying it. She's just like, oh, I'm afraid for my family. I don't know, Mary, she has this power, and it's like I can believe that people in the church may feel like that, but someone outside of the church, I don't know. Like, I don't think Mary, I could be wrong, but I don't think Mary's gonna come after you in a violent way. Unless I'm missing some tea. And I definitely know I'm missing tea. So, if it turns out that Mary walks around slapping people in the face and it has a history of being violent and stuff like that, then I take this back. But I don't know. I think Mary is definitely shady. I Her congregation may be a cult. That is a possibility. I will accept that. But I think her her coming after your family is a bit of a stretch to me. I'm sorry. I think it's a bit of a stretch, especially since you're not part of the congregation and you're on a national television show with her. I think she obviously is going to move a bit differently with you. Now, yeah, if there's dirt about your family, is Mary going to next season be talking about, oh, well, did you hear about Whitney and da 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 da? Yeah, Mary could do that, but to be fair, you did that to her. You went and you dug up information about her church and her husband and her things and her congregation or whatever. Like, you did that first. So she comes back at you. It's not her coming for my family. It's not, I don't know. It's like you're making yourself seem a little bit, I don't want to say victimy, right? But you're not, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I just, Lisa and Whitney and them, especially Whitney. I don't know. I'm just over Whitney at this point. I still think she's good for the show, but I don't know. I don't know. So let's move on. So we move on to Jenny's Vietnamese Peace Garden party, right? And this scene, this extended scene, because it was like, what, 30 minutes? It was iconic. This will definitely, I feel like if someone's going to make a list of the most, I don't know, how would you label this scene? Comment down below because I'm lost for words right now. But this is up there, okay? This moment will be up there. Unfortunately, I don't feel too great to say, yeah, this was a great scene given the circumstance as to why it was, someone potentially going to jail, someone being a cult leader. I mean, yes, it is entertaining, but I have to remind myself these are real people. This is like the real life, and I don't want to get too much pleasure from their pain, just a little bit of pleasure, but not too much, okay? So, yeah, okay, let's get into it. So, Meredith and Lisa, they're the first ones to show up, right? And Meredith is happy, they're talking, yada yada yada. And then she sees Jen, Whitney, and Heather walking onto the scene, and the look that she gave Jenny, oh my gosh. Now, I would also, you know what? I've been wrong about a lot of characters on Salt Lake City, I'm finding. Right? Like Meredith, at first I always liked Meredith, but I think Meredith is really showing us a little bit more of her, and I'm here for it. I'm here for Meredith. I am. So, she's like looking at Jenny like, I thought I said not to invite me if you are inviting Jen. That's a terrible impression, but you get the gist. You get it, right? Like, she was just like, what? Why is she here? And no, Jenny's like, well, this is a peace garden and I want there to be peace. So, whatever, they go around, everybody comes around each other, and they are acting absolutely fake, 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 Of course, Mary's always late, and like, it's funny because Mary can be like, well, you know what? I don't want to do that activity. I don't want to show up to film. No, that's not for me. Oh, no, I'm going to leave early. I'm going to be late. Yeah, no, yeah. But when Mary shows up, Mary shows up. So I feel like they give her a bit of a pass because Mary, she delivers, but no pun intended. So yeah, they're acting fake, fake, fake. Mary's late. Mary shows up. She's the thing about this is the weird thing I noticed about Mary. It's like on one hand, she's the realist, but on the other hand, no, Mary's actually the fakest of them all, and she outfakes all of them. you know? But okay, let me go in order, right? So yeah, this so Whitney's like, I can't believe it. I can't believe that all just gonna be fake like this. Like we didn't have a big fight last time. You know what I mean? And she's like whispering it to Jen. You know? It's you're not even saying it out loud to the rest of the table. And of course Mary overhears her and be like, "What? You think we're being fake right now? Okay, so you think we're being fake? Okay, let's get real, Whitney." And Mary got real real quick, okay? And she started getting into it with Jen, asking her a bunch of questions. And, you know, Jen is like, I didn't know. I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything. And Mary's like, Are you sure? Really? Really? You didn't know anything? You sure? Mm, yeah, really? Oh, okay. Nothing at all? Nothing? But Mary's asking the questions that look everybody at that table wanted to know, and let's be real, us the audience wants to know. So hey, right? And Jen handled it pretty well. I was actually expecting Jen to kind of lose it, but she kept her composure for very very long because I don't know what happened, but the conversation just started to devolve into, oh, she was talking shit about you. No, she was talking shit about you. No, I'm not fake. She's fake because she was saying all these horrible things about you. And I didn't say anything at all. I didn't say, no, you did say stuff. You said this. Like, like it was terrible. Like, I can't imagine. Like, Jen probably felt, like she said, she felt like crap because they were literally fighting over who talked the most crap. And then actively denying that they talk crap, and then have the other person point out, no, you're lying, you're being fake. So it's like, who do you really trust in that situation? And if everybody is at the table is pointing fingers at each other and accusing each other of being fake and not being honest, then chances are everybody at that table is fake, okay? So doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. And it's like, why don't you guys, okay, fine. You guys, you talked crap. It is what it is. But why can't you guys just say what you said? Why are you pointing the finger saying what everybody said? It's just. I feel sorry for Jen. Moving on. Um, I did notice Heather kind of just sitting there quietly, and I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it, and I'm gonna check my bias a little bit because I haven't really been feeling Heather. Heather has not been my favorite. So her sitting there on one side, I interpret it as Heather is kind of being fake in a way. However, she didn't talk that much crap about Jen, you know? I do think she was shady at moments, but that's natural, right? Like, obviously, if that happened in real time, you're gonna have questions. You're gonna wanna know what's going on. But I don't know, even the way she kind of interacted with Mary, like, you can tell that it still wasn't resolved between the both of them, but both of them were like, okay, hi, yeah, we're friends again. I really like you, Heather. It's like, that's not real, that's not true, but okay, fine. And then her sitting there, I was like, you're not saying anything. But at the end of the day, you could also interpret it as she's being a good friend, and it's probably not a great feeling for her friend to have everybody at the table literally talking shit about her. Well, not literally, but still, so she's not gonna add to it, even if she's trying to defend her, because it's like, even if she was to say, oh no, be quiet guys, or whatever, someone could point the finger at her and be like, well, you said this, and then it would have got worse. So I think she just was like, I'm just gonna shut up. And upon reflection, that is a good strategy. Sometimes you just need to shut up, let them make a mess. So, I don't know. I guess Jenny and Mary got into it. Oh yes, because Mary is like I said, on one hand she's real, but then on the other hand she's super fake. She out fakes them all because she will directly ask her stuff, right? And like on the surface, it will look like she's being an honest person, right? Because she can directly ask Jen the hard questions where the other ladies, they're a bit uncomfortable. But then on the flip side, she says, "Well, I never said anything bad about you." When that's complete nonsense and baloney. Like, Mary talked a lot of crap. Maybe not the most crap, but she talked enough crap. Like, you can't say you didn't say anything and you were super positive about Jen. Like, it's very clear you don't like Jen, right? So I don't know. Like, Jenny calls her out by saying, "Yeah, no, you said a bunch of crap. You're super fake." And Mary doesn't want to be called out on her shit, so she pulls a Meredith and storms out and say, "I'm leaving, I'm going." And Meredith is like, "I'm going too." Right? But oh my gosh, there's so much happening in the same, like, oh, I need to take a breather. Oh my gosh, so much happened. So basically, Mary ends up talking. I don't know what happened, okay, because so much happened, but Mary ends up talking to Jen for some reason. Oh, yeah, Jen goes off crying, right? Because they're still continuing to kind of throw each other under the bus, right? So, Jen, who, like I said, I'm going to give her props for holding her composure, finally says, like, "No, I can't do this anymore. I'm going." And then for some weird reason, I was actually shocked by this. Mary goes to comfort her and like, "Hey, come on, let's go. Let's have a talk." Right? And then like sits down with her and it's like, you know, telling more crap like, "Oh, well, I never said anything about you and I'm really rooting for you to be guilty. I mean, innocent. Innocent. Of course, innocent." Like, if that was a Freudian slip, like, look that up in the dictionary under like Freudian slip and this would be the moment, right? Like, clearly, Mary, you don't like Jen. But she's smart because she pulls Jen away from everybody else and is like, "Okay, I'm going to comfort you now. I'm going to be here for you. I'm going to pray for you." All of a sudden, I care, right? And there's no one around to kind of dispute that or whatever. And Mary, oh my gosh. Mary is something. Mary is something. But, oh, she's definitely going to get canceled because another thing that Mary did, oh my gosh, so much happened. She called, she kind of low key called Jenny yellow. Okay, and if you guys didn't know, Jenny is Vietnamese, so probably not a good idea. She then says, "Oh, I like your slanty eyes." Mary's gonna get canceled. Like, and I feel like she said so many other things that I forgot. Like, Mary has. Every other sentence that Mary says is like super offensive to somebody. So she's gonna get canceled eventually. I've given up hope for Mary. I'm sorry, you're gonna get canceled. It is what it is. I'm just going to enjoy her while she's on my screen because I'm sorry, she's good reality television. Is that terrible? I know it is, but she's good reality television. But no, Mary, you have too much drama going on for you to then add this to it. Like, you already have like the list is high, Mary. Oh my gosh. Moving on. So, Lisa is, I don't know. Like, on one hand, okay, I guess what maybe the reason why Lisa is being super defensive because she's felt really attacked within the group. However, she kind of, I don't want to say she deserves it or anything, but Is Lisa two-faced? No, not really, because I do feel like with Lisa's talk with Jen, she kind of she did no, actually I take that back. She didn't tell Jen what she was talking about. She just basically told Jen, I didn't want to talk to you because I was mad at you with how you treated me. She didn't really go into detail about how she was calling like five, seven lawyers asking them what's going on and wondering if she was guilty, or she didn't really too much speak on that. So, yeah. Oh. So, yeah, I mean, Lisa, I'm sorry you're not the victim in this situation because you are just like Whitney. Whitney is the same thing. Maybe that's why they don't get along, where it's like they keep trying to throw one another under the bus or be like, see, I'm not the bad guy, they're the bad guy. And it's kind of like annoying now. Whitney, I'm going to say the same thing. Like, I wish they kind of would just, I don't know, be a little bit more consistent. But I could say the same thing with Mary, right? But I guess people are who they are and it's entertaining. So you know what? Don't change anything at all. Continue to be you. um so yeah, Meredith kind of had enough cuz she's not even feeling Jen. That whole situation was a mess. Right? So she's like, "You know what? I'm going. And I don't really need to be here." And then Lisa freaks out. She goes running to her and be like, "Look, as my friend, can you stay, please? Can you?" And I like that Meredith came back to the table and had her friends back because Lisa feels like nobody has her back in the group. And that's fair, right? But I don't know. It seems like they were all kind of able to, or they will be all able to kind of come together. I mean, not really, but this review has went on long enough. So overall, this was a great episode. Salt Lake City is really, really picking up. Um, and I can't wait for next week's episode. So that's everything, guys. See ya.